Hey, how's it going? Preps here, and welcome back to another Marvel Strike Force video, and today I hit a massive milestone. Today I completed Dark Dimension 6 and unlocked Super Skrull. Now, I'm not gonna lie, without Apocalypse this was actually kind of a grind, so it's pretty awesome they're making some changes to the Apocalypse unlock requirements, but I was able to get it done, and in the process I learned a lot. So in this video, I'm gonna share some things that I did right, but more importantly, the things I did wrong and what I would do differently given the chance. So with all that said, let's get into it. So I guess the first thing I want to go over is preparation. This is after all a resource management game, so preparing for Dark Dimension 6 as early as possible is crucial. Making sure you have enough gold, training materials, ability materials, ISO 8 crystals, unique gear pieces, and maybe most importantly the right characters will make your time completing Dark Dimension 6 that much quicker and easier. The first thing I would suggest to do that I didn't do is to take Apocalypse. I decided to skip going for Apocalypse because as a newer player, trying to build the teams required for Apocalypse while also building raid teams was impossible, and raid teams are a lot more important. But with the recent announcement that changes are coming to the unlock requirements for Apocalypse, going for Apocalypse before completing Dark Dimension 6 makes a lot more sense. So with that said, I think it'd be a good time to go over the characters I used in each section. So first up, the unrestricted section, and I think here it's a pretty good idea to take in at least 3 global characters, as the next section after you complete the unrestricted section is the global section. So the more global characters you have built up, the sooner you'll be ready to attempt the global nodes. Now, if you're a newer player, you're most likely building up your raid teams, which is perfect, as most of the characters that I'm going to suggest to take are going to be raid characters. So, for the unrestricted section, the characters I used were Nightcrawler, Black Knight, Kestrel, Val, and Red Goblin. On the second unrestricted node, I subbed out Red Goblin for Old Man Logan. No real regrets here, Red Goblin was probably the weakest link, but he's still an amazing character and an absolute beast in raids. My main advice for the unrestricted section would be to take mainly global and cosmic characters. Characters like Old Man Logan, Apocalypse, Gambit, Val, Kestrel, Doom, and Kang are all really good choices. Now for the global section, and here I used Black Knight, Nightcrawler, Gambit, Forge, and Sunspot, and this was a great team. I think I pretty much 1 or 2 shot each node. There are a lot of great choices for the global section. Teams like Cabal, Mercs for Money, Alpha Flight, or characters like Doctor Doom or Spider-Weaver are all good choices, but I think when possible, it's best to stick to as many raid characters as you can, at least for newer players. Onto the cosmic section, and this was by far the hardest section, at least in my experience, and I think that's due to a few different things. Number 1, the other sections were completed by either teams that had synergy or Old Man Logan. Number 2, some of the really good cosmic characters can't be farmed until later in the game, and if you're a follower of the channel, you'd know that I started with a boosted account, so my journey to level 95 was bloody fast. In fact, it took me just 169 days to unlock Super Skrull, and it could have been a lot faster. Therefore, I went into the cosmic section of DD6 with 5 and 6 red star characters, which, when it's a team of plug and play characters, isn't ideal to say the least. Lastly, I tried to do it without Dormammu, and with the star level of my cosmic characters, that was a big mistake. Adding Dormammu to the team made a huge difference. So the team I ended up going with was Val, Kestrel, Kang, Void Knight, and Dormammu. Like in raids, having a big Val will be a huge benefit. Other characters to consider would be Deathpool, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Icarus and Cersei, or Photon. If Mr. Fantastic had received a decent rework, I think he would have been a good option, but unfortunately the reworks to the Illuminati team are absolute garbage. And speaking of reworks, I'm going to be doing a video on the current state of the reworks we've been getting, so if you're keen to see that, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload new content. So to summarize the cosmic section, try to get as many red stars on characters like Kang and Val as possible. Take Dormammu, especially if your characters have low stars like mine. And lastly, make sure you save enough resources to take Super Skrull into your second run. He's going to make the cosmic section a lot easier. Okay, moving along to the city section, and here I used Ghost Spider, Spider Noir, Penny Parker, Peter B. Parker, and Red Goblin, and while I was able to one-shot all of the nodes, Red Goblin died on the first node and the boss node. If I'd taken Spider-Man Pav instead, I'm pretty sure I could have pressed auto and just walked away, but regardless, it was an absolute walk in the park. Other good choices would be Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes, Vulture, Craven, Lizard, or Firestar. Although once again, for newer players, I would recommend to stick to as many raid characters as possible. One thing to keep in mind when building for DD6 is that you want to try and build characters that you plan on taking to DD7. It's not always possible as the meta is constantly shifting, but the less characters you have to sink gold and training mats into, the better. Lastly, the legendary sections, and here I just built up one team. I didn't have near enough resources to build a legendary team as well as the horsemen. The team I used was Old Man Logan, Black Cat, Green Goblin Classic, Doc Ock, and Phoenix. So firstly, I'll talk about the decision to take Phoenix instead of Nova, as most people would probably take Nova over Phoenix, and this comes down to pretty much the same problem I had in the Cosmic section: star levels. With Black Cat, Green Goblin Classic, and Nova all at around 3 or 4 red stars, their stats just aren't good enough to withstand the damage characters put out in DD6. Phoenix at 7 yellow, 6 red stars, had roughly the same stats, if not better stats than Nova. The difference being is that she gave significant buffs to Old Man Logan. That, along with the fact that she has guaranteed damage when Dark Phoenix spawns, I decided to take her over Nova, but to be honest, if it wasn't for Old Man Logan, I highly doubt I would have been able to finish the final boss node without obtaining more stars on Black Cat and Green Goblin Classic. And that would have required me investing more into New Avengers and Sinister Six, and I just don't have the spare resources. But now that Apocalypse is a lot easier to obtain, that final boss node shouldn't be an issue. Apocalypse and Old Man Logan will walk right through it. So Old Man Logan is a no-brainer, with Apocalypse for the final node. The other legendary characters to consider would be Black Cat, Green Goblin Classic, Nova, Omega Red, Doc Ock, Phoenix, and Black Bolt. I just wish Black Bolt had received a better rework to be more viable standalone, but what can you do? I personally can't wait for the next legendary character to be released. Yeah, no, not that one, the one after that, because they're going to be crucial for Dark Dimension 7 and 8. So to summarize, prepare early. Decide on which characters you want to take and farm their origin gear and unique pieces. Try not to pick too many characters that use the same unique piece. Farm as many stars as you can for the characters you want to take. It makes a massive difference. Take Apocalypse, there's no reason to skip him now, he's easier to unlock. Finally, make sure you have enough resources to take Super Skrull into your second run. He's going to make a massive difference in the Cosmic section. Well, I think that just about does it. If you found the information in the video useful, give it a thumbs up and share with your alliance. Don't forget to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.